This is a quick tutorial on how to use the quote tool on EQUES Title's website. First thing you want to do is go to equestitle.com, and then you're going to want to come down to the little greenhouse down here. It'll open up a login screen. If you do not have a Qualia account login already, please ask one of our team members and we'll make sure to get you an invitation. But if you do, go ahead and click Login to Qualia. On here, it's going to take you to our client-facing internal system where you can see orders you've placed with the team and you can see quotes. And as you can see, we put a couple quotes in here and used a couple different examples in the past, but I can sort those as I have need. So getting right into it, let's go ahead and do a seller net sheet. And we're going to use the EQUES headquarters. 5989 County Road 77 in Millersburg, Ohio. And you may be using one of our other offices across the state, and that's okay. But in this case, we'll just use the headquarters for EQUES. In this case, we're going to do a $750,000 loan on a $1 million purchase price. And so we'll just fictitiously make up that we have that much of a loan to pay off with this much of a purchase price on the property. So you can also check purchase or loan, cash purchase or short sale, and that's just depending on your situation. We'll go with the loan on this one. Additionally, you can upload a photo of the property and that'll customize your net seller sheet a little bit more than the standard one. You can see that EQUES title is already selected, and then you can select whether or not the seller has payoffs, and there's a little descriptor here of what does that mean exactly. So here's what we have. We're going to use a local bank here to Holmes County. And we're going to say there's a $500,000 still that needs to be paid off on this transaction. You can choose to include other payoffs like lines of credits or anything else like a second mortgage that might be on there. But for right now, we'll just leave it on this one. And then you can get to select listing agent commission and selling agent commission. And let's just, for simplicity's sake, let's split everything down the line here. So the listing agent has a 2.5% commission and a $1,500 advertising fee that they're charging on top of that. And the selling agent gets another 2.5% on top of that. Here is where you're going to add any prorations, and for most of the time, this is going to be real estate taxes. And let's say that our installment fees are $6,000. And in this case, let's say that the second half of 2023 has already been paid. So we're just looking at this first half of the year that still needs to be paid. And while we have a ridiculously close closing time on this, we'll go ahead and just leave it as it is. The buyer is going to pay this one. If the seller's already paid it and needs reimbursed for it, you would click there. But in this case, the buyer is going to be the one who's going to end up getting that invoice, and we're going to classify this as tax and recording fees. And right there, it shows you the prorated amount. Now, you can also come in here and add line items. So maybe your seller has already paid an annual fee. And in this case, let's use like an HOA fee. And maybe it was $1,000 and the seller wants to be reimbursed for $500 of that. So you would select paid to seller and that, and then you can keep adding lines if there are other fees and whether they be paid by the seller at closing or paid to the seller at closing. Lastly, the payer of the owner's policy is going to be the buyer, seller split. We'll just say, in this case, we're splitting it 50-50. And then often with the lender's policy, the buyer is going to pay that. Taxing authority, you can just select other. You can, if you know greater details, come in here and fill this out. Otherwise, these are all just going to be estimated. You can also see here, then on the next page, title and closing fees. In this case, let's go ahead and split those as well. So it just takes a couple seconds and it looks it up and you get to see a very nice summary here of what it is. You can view some of the assumptions you put in on this page as well. It gives you a nice big bold area where you can see what the seller's net proceeds are going to be. And then you can come down here and choose from the options of print, share, save, or if you're ready to go, straight to order. So let's take a look at the print option here. And we're going to just preview that for a second. And you can see this is what your net seller sheet will look like if you choose to print it out and take it with you. And you can run as many of these as you want to see all of the different calculations that will come back through that and customize that with any pictures. You could also choose to share it or just save it to the file and come back and grab it later.